I'm Derek Long. I'm the Executive Director of Sustainable Connections in beautiful Bellingham, Washington. We have several examples in Bellingham and Sustainable Connections. Sorry, my voice. I've got a history of cold that I'm over. But so we have several examples of how we're trying to initiate collective impact. It's in the food and farming sector. It's with traditional economic development organizations. It's with green building and smart growth and all the various stakeholders in that space. The one that's probably the most developed is our energy program, so I'll share a little bit about that. We've experienced some success. Our sort of shared goal is making energy efficiency accessible, affordable, and attractive by creating a one-stop shop for energy efficiency in Northwest Washington. We've got a lot of players in that space. They're utility companies, governments, financial institutions, nonprofits, and they all play an important role. You know, the utilities provide data on the impact of our programs. They provide rebates that help make building owners more inspired to get projects done. They provide promotional support because they're communicating to their customers all the time. Nonprofits and educational institutions provide a lot of promotional support. In some cases, they're providing funding. Financial institutions are providing promotional supports because they reach a lot of customers as well. And they provide attractive loan terms for retrofits. And then local governments provide some funding. Where necessary, we get them to try to provide efficient permitting. And in some cases, they provide funding as well. For example, when a lot of energy efficiency measures also have a water saving benefit, and so the city has a fund that invests in water saving, and so we get a little money from those benefits we provide. So I want to give you a little sense of how the service is delivered. The order of these slides sometimes maybe seem a little bit off for our presentation, but let me just give you a sense that if you're a commercial building owner or a business owner or a homeowner, this is what you do. It's a one-stop shop. You call us, and we, in a home sense, you get about a 4-hour assessment. In a commercial building, it might be more like 8 hours. We present the results of that assessment and make recommendations to the homeowner or the building owner on what the most cost-effective energy efficiency improvements or renewable energy solutions are appropriate. The homeowner or the building owner selects which ones they want to go forward with. We help them find the right contractors for that and then complete the work. And then our teams do 100% quality assurance reviews on all those projects. And then we help them secure the loan or the utility rebates and so on. The next slide I was asked to speak about was continuing communication. And we partner with one organization to provide these residential and commercial energy efficiency retrofit services. But our partner, the Opportunity Council, brings in contractors of all sorts, heating and air conditioning guys and insulation guys and so on. And this has never been done before. You know, these guys have been competitors with one another for decades, you know. So they come into these meetings, and the heating and air conditioning guys kind of sit like this. And the insulation guys are kind of like this, you know. And the solar installers, you know, they're at the edge of their seat, you know, they're pretty excited. So we set these communication ground rules to get them more excited about the collaborative opportunities to do the right thing with energy. But you know, the Opportunity Council and Sustainable Connections, we communicate with each other every day. I'll show you why. So these are the organizing partners. I wanted to touch base on I guess the two of us are the backbone organization of this program. So the Opportunity Council coordinates the residential program. They train the contractors to make sure they're doing the projects right. They start to finish residential project coordination and fiscal coordination of all our grants. The Sustainable Connections does the commercial building programs. We do the marketing and outreach for the whole program to keep the pipeline of building owners full. And how do we measure impact? You know, before I go there, I wanted to say quickly, there's a gentleman in our community named Michael Karp, who's one of those guys, you know, that can see trends, and he can see the strengths in various organizations, and he can put those people in the same room to help them see the trends. And one of the questions was, you know, how in the world, who funded you to be the backbone organizations, and how'd you do it, and so on. And neither the Sustainable Connections or the Opportunity Council had any funding whatsoever for this project when we started, but we had a relationship with Michael, and we trusted Michael. And so we used very limited discretionary funds, or you might say volunteer time. And we sat down and meeting after meeting after meeting and said, how are we going to do an energy efficiency program? Michael kept assuring us that funding's coming for this issue. It's important. And so we designed a program, and we thought it would take us 10 years to get started. And just then, you know, the recession hit, ARA funding started to come together, and suddenly we had this program ready to go. And we secured $4.1 million in ARA funding for our community, and that got us kicked off. So thank goodness for Michael Karp. But that's a little bit of the story of how we got started. How do we measure impact? Well, it was ARA funding, so there is intense reporting for that. We've got a database, and we're tracking so many things. I'll show you just a few, but this is one fun thing with our friends that do GIS. These are all the home and commercial building projects throughout Northwest Washington that we've done. And the quick results: 1,600 home assessments, 1,200 projects, 400 commercial assessments, 175 capital projects, over 16 million in economic activity, and a greenhouse gas emissions reductions of the equivalent of removing 1,300 cars from the road. And I'll just finish by saying, has anyone heard of the Georgetown Energy Prize in this room? No? So Georgetown University is sponsoring a nationwide competition for towns that I think are 50,000 to 250,000, and we're going to have a 2-year competition to see who can save the most energy over the baseline year. 2014 is the baseline year. January 1, 2015, we're in competition. And so for 2 years, and so far I think there are 55 cities competing. I encourage you to write that down, Georgetown Energy Prize. See if your town is competing. And it's fun to have these kinds of competitions with other communities, and we fully intend to win. But because of all this work we've done already, our baseline year is going to be lower, and so we're going to have a harder challenge to improve on that. But thanks for your time.